Hello everybody, it's Tommy and welcome back to another video for the Disney Save. Today we're going to be working on a bonus video for the Disney Save. These are two characters that I think a lot of people are really going to be confused why I'm even creating them. So this is the King and Queen of Arendelle, otherwise known as King Agnarr and Queen Iduna, and they are Anna and Elsa's parents. So for the Frozen movies, they are not alive, and so it kind of doesn't make sense to include them as characters. However, when I was working on Arendelle Castle, I saw obviously that there were a lot of pictures in the background of various family members and characters from Frozen, and a lot of the background portraits in Arendelle were like pictures of the King and Queen. So it is not a new idea of the Disney Save to do this, but I really did want to maybe create some Sims that look like the King and Queen so that we could do some portrait shots of the two of them and hang them all over the castle, just to really make it very unique and have it have some extra stuff added in that makes it feel even more like Arendelle Castle without using CC. This is like one of the very limited ways that we can do something a little bit more special. And so I had to create them first. And this was a little bit of a bonus stream, some bonus content. Wasn't even really sure if I was going to upload this, but I figured there were a couple people that would probably like to see it regardless. So we're going to be working on the two of them today. And since they're not technically Disney Save characters, they don't really get backstories the way that a lot of the other ones do. Obviously, we know they are Anna and Elsa's parents. There is a lot of like fan theories and speculation about a ton of stuff relating to these two characters, but there isn't like a ton of definite stuff known about them. Frozen 2 helps a little bit more, but I wasn't really too concerned with any of that stuff. I was more just looking at what they physically look like and trying to get a good resemblance so that we could use them for portraits. Now, something that was a little bit interesting and makes this unique is the fact that I'm only using them for portraits meant that I was able to download some CC clothing and dress them up in CC clothes that are a lot closer to what they wear in their movie so that it looked a lot better for the portrait shots. Now I did throw these guys on the gallery, or I'm going to very shortly, so they will be available if you are somebody who would like them, or maybe you want to use them in the Disney Save for some kind of role play purposes or whatever you want them for. They will eventually be available on the gallery. I will try and release both a CC and CC free version, as I typically do with all characters, but just so you know, the ones that we are working on today are the CC version, and it really just includes like a better gown for Iduna and a more formal king's outfit for King Agnarr. We really have like nothing like that in game. There's very, very limited options as far as like fancier royal formal wear, and I'm already really perceiving that to be a slight issue if we don't get some packs or some kits that are more royal or medieval or related to those types of themings. But one thing that is kind of cool, I guess, is that whenever we get some kind of an occult pack, we usually do get quite a few items that really fit up the alley of doing more royalty type of Sims. So hopefully down the line we will get some stuff, but for this time around I had to go searching through the CC catalog, and you will be surprised to know that there is nobody who has ever really made King Agnarr and Queen Iduna's clothes from Frozen. So I really just had to piece stuff together, and I'm also a Maxis Match fan, so it's all going to be Maxis Match. Iduna was really tough, and I'm not really sure why. I think maybe I could have taken Anna and Elsa and made like a genetic mother off of them and tried to start from there, but the genetics in the game are super off, as has been very prevalent on Twitch for me recently. Whenever we do this thing, like I'll make a new sim and they have sort of these very extreme features to them because they are Disney Sims, and so they might have a really big nose or super large eyes and just these like very heavy features, and when you try to breed with that, it is a nightmare, to say the least. Like, some of the children of the Disney Save are going to be exceptionally far off from how they look. I'm picturing one day creating characters like Eric and Ariel and having them make a child in The Sims, and I can guarantee you that it will not look like Melody. I can guarantee you that much. So when it comes to using the genetics in the game to really create something that's super realistic for characters that already exist and we have like a set way that they're supposed to look, it's almost a little bit pointless. But I started off with Iduna, and although she was a young adult, she really looked super old, and I couldn't work it out of her face for a little while. I had the same problem with Anna, weirdly enough, where she just looked so old and I could not get it to come out of the face. But every picture that I found of the King and Queen, they look a little bit sad and sort of troubled. So I tried to build that into their faces a little bit, they've been through a lot, don't get me wrong. Like, there were tough times and they dealt with a lot of stuff over the years, but every single picture, particularly of the mother, is just so sad looking. She has this very somber expression. So I wanted to try to capture that, and it ended up looking a little bit old. I went back and I fixed it a bit. She does have, I feel like, an older complexion compared to a lot of the adult or young adult Sims in the save, which might be sort of a cool thing because obviously she's been through a lot. Like, the more you go through stuff, you stress through life, you start to look like you're aging a little bit more rapidly. So being a queen and all of the individual things that happen between the two movies that would cause the type of stresses that these two characters have to go through, you would probably see something like that. And I did notice that the king was maybe not as old looking, so I did soften it up a little bit for him. And I actually had a much easier time with King Agnarr than Iduna, which is very rare that I can have like an easier time with a male sim. There's one particular portrait from the movie of the king from the coronation. And obviously the coronation is kind of a big thing in relation to Elsa. So there was a former photo of King Agnarr being coronated on the wall in one of the rooms. I believe it was like the living room. And that was really the inspiration to create the characters. So I had to find everything that he was wearing in that particular shot so that I could get it as close as possible. One thing being crowns. Now, for the lack of items that we have in the game that are related to royalty, crowns is the one. There's no crowns in the game. I think there might be for like toddlers or something, which is really cute, but we have none. And even going through like the CC community of stuff, finding Maxis Match crowns that fit clay hairstyles is so difficult, and I had a really, really hard time with it. I managed to find something that is not quite what he has, but fits the hairs that I've chosen really well. So it's one of those things you kind of just have to decide. And I think what I ended up doing is picking one hair that he can wear when he doesn't have the crown on, and then another hair that looks a lot better with the crown, so you don't have weird clipping and all of that. So I am going to include some shots at the end here of just what we ended up with as far as clothing goes. It wasn't really a choice. I didn't like go through a ton of stuff in my catalog. Basically tried a bunch of stuff on and off of them until I felt like I was pretty happy with it. So these are the outfits that I ended up choosing. I do have to add a couple of things to Iduna, but more or less this is what they are going to be wearing. And that is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the bonus. I do have a speed build coming up in the later part of the week, fingers crossed. And I did take a little bit of a break from YouTube and Twitch, but I am back now, so definitely come hang out over on Twitch if you'd like to see me build for the Disney Save and create characters. I go live 3 times a week. It is linked in my description box down below. If you would like to support the Disney Save on Patreon, you can do so by clicking the link in my description box down below or the one at the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Hit that little bell icon below to turn on post notifications so you can get updated every single time I post, and I will talk to you all in the next one.